sweet songs within the groves along the banks of the Jamuna. Like a bee thirsty for honey, he jubilantly relishes the lotus faces of the gopis. His feet are offered, worshipped by Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesh. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision.
In his left hand he holds a flute upon his head. He wears the tail plumes of a peacock, and around his waist is fine silken cloth. From the those sidelong glances on his companions. It is known that actually take place within the land of Sri Vrindavan. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision.
On the shore of the great ocean, within his palace atop the brilliant gold crest of Nilachal, the blue mountain, he resides with his powerful brother Baladev Ji. The very beautiful sister Subhadra is between them on a chariot. He bestows the opportunity of service upon all the demigods. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision.
He is an ocean of mercy, and his bodily complexion is as beautiful as a bank of blackish rain clouds, delighting Lakshmi and Saraswati. His face resembles a fully blossomed and spotless lotus. He is worshipped by the foremost of the demigods, and his transcendental glories are sung by the topmost scriptures. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision.
As Jagannath Dev travels along the road, mounted upon his chariot, he is met at every step by throngs of brahmanas who sing his praises. Upon hearing them, he bestows mercy upon them. He is an ocean of mercy and the true friend of all the worlds. May Jagannath Swami, accompanied by Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of the ocean, kindly enter the pathway.
Sri Jagannath Dev is the crest jewel of all manifestations of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and his eyes are like the petals of a fully blossomed blue lotus. He resides on Nilachal, and he places his feet on the head of an Andhashesh Naga. Being blissfully immersed in Bhakti Ras, he derives great happiness from embracing the rus-laden body of Srimati Radhika. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision.
I do not pray for a kingdom, nor for gold, jewels, wealth, nor for the life of wife as desired by all men. My only prayer is that Sri Jagannath Dev, whose splendid glories are always sung at every moment by Shiva, the lord of the ghosts, demons, and goblins, may kindly enter the pathway of my vision. O Master of godly beings, kindly remove this fleeting and meaningless worldly existence. O Lord of the Yadus, kindly purge me of my ocean of sins that has no shore. Oh, it is certain that you bestow your lotus feet upon those who are lowly and devoid of any shelter. And Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision.
One who carefully recites the sacred Jagannath Kalan, becoming sinless, pure-hearted, will attain entrance into Vishnuloka.
Hi, Jagannath. There's a little bit of a catch there in that final one. Huh?
What?
Testing.
So once a person becomes sinless and pure of heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys went through, you did full bhajan?
Oh, that was for Krishna. You can sing one for Radha?
No?
Good. Oh, I didn't say.
Testing.
Braj
Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jataha Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Trishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmaka Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare. Can you cut just a few little squares of ginger? A few little, just bring it on a paper towel or something. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali unto the lotus feet of my most beloved, worshipable Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahansa Astotarashata, Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Siksha Guru, Vishnupad Paramahansa, Astotarasata Sri Srila, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Astotarasata Sri Srila, Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I'm also offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all my Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranams to and all the Vaishnavis. So today is Hera Panchami. And this is the day when Lakshmi Devi comes looking for her husband in a very angry mood. She is feeling that she has been disrespected, disregarded, jilted, whatever. Because Lord Jagannath, Sri Krishna, he said that he's going for a few days for change of scenery, because he was confined for 2 weeks with his cold. So now, as most kings do, they go for a journey to refresh themselves. But Lord Jagannath, he did not tell what is his actual destination. Although she knew that he's going to Sundarachal, but Lakshmi Devi, she's not aware what Lord Jagannath is going to be doing there, what Krishna will be doing there, and also what he'll be doing along the way. She did not come on the parade, right? The festival of the chariot. And also suspicious at all. Why? Because his brother and sister have gone with him. But yet, it is the nature of ladies, it is their nature that if there is any suspicion that comes in their mind, where is my husband? What is he up to? Then transformations come in their mind, in their heart, in their emotions and all of that, and then they manifest externally. Even here in this material world, there's a perverted, extremely perverted. I mean, I can't even emphasize it enough, how extremely perverted the reflection is of the original. But the original is so sublime and pure in the heroines of the transcendental spiritual world. This is what our acharyas want us to know about. How those transcendental loving affairs between the supreme enjoyer, who is the Brajabaranagara, who is the supreme hero of Braja, of Vrindavan, and Krishna's consorts, Nagaris, the Braja Nagaris. But chief of who? Chief of them? None other than Srimati Radharani. So, from the mundane perspective, it is not actually possible to understand the transcendental reality. However, with faith, with hearing from the pure Vaishnavas, who have these impressions emblazoned within their heart, and by following their instructions on the pathway of bhakti, gradually a sadhak can gradually advance and attain some attraction and some taste for hearing these divine subject matters, which have nothing to do at all with the material realm. If they had something to do with the material realm, these descriptions of the transcendental loving affairs between the supreme masculine Godhead parts, if touch of mundanity, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have no interest at all in hearing that. Neither would Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Roy, all the great Vaishnava Acharyas, they would have no interest at all neither would Shukadev Goswami, who narrated these pastimes. This is the proof. You want proof? Oh, this is transcendental? Who are the transcendentalists who are relishing and tasting it? That's the proof. In the whole universe, you cannot find a higher proof than that. So we should understand that when we approach these subject matters, we cannot place any kind of our own conditioned familiarity with the mundane affairs of lust, anger, illusion, envy. It has nothing to do with that realm. But nevertheless, those have manifested from the reality, although very perverted reflections. And the result of those, all those emotions, is simply suffering. There's nothing else. Simply suffering. But yet the conditions, they want to taste, they want to experience with their mundane senses. But the result is 100% of the time suffering. You see? So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, when he left everything and came to his lotus feet in Jagannath Puri, leaving aside his wife, Gurudev would always say, more beautiful than Miss Universe. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita itself, she was more beautiful than Gandharva. No, there's another. Apsara. That's the word used. And wealth and affection of family and everything. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he could not have any part of it. He had no interest in it. Although he was born in that situation. But he left everything to come to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. We know the story. We studied it recently. And when Mahaprabhu saw him, Goswami poured his mercy on him, and he said, Krishna is so merciful to you. He has rescued you from a pit of stool in which you have fallen into. His mercy cannot be measured. So, in order to understand this, the original and the perverted reflection, therefore we go through our experiences in this world, in the human body, with the human relationships and so forth, as perverted reflections of the original rasas, the 5 rasas. These are the experience here in this realm. After lifetime, knows how many human forms we've had these relationships and never said, and quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Jiva, this chain of attachment and attraction and being plunged into of this world. Gurudev would always use adjectives, sufferings and sorrows. Simply sufferings and sorrows, like waves coming, one after the other. Don't stop. On the ocean front, you're just going to see waves after waves after waves, and it never stops. That's the nature of this world. But Mahaprabhu is not from this world. His associates are not from this world. They are externally showing that they're living in the human realm, but in actuality they're completely absorbed in praying. You see? So all of their names, their forms, their pastimes, qualities, everything about them is completely transcendental and imbued with rasa. This is why our authors of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Vrindavan Das Thakur, Chaitanya Bhagavat, that's why they have narrated and explained how much they have explained near to the Jagannath entrance, Singhadwara gate, to watch this grand drama which took place there. And how Lakshmi Devi was coming out of the temple on Palanquin. We heard about how Maharaj Prataparudra wanted this to be a drama like no other. So he said, take everything in my storehouse, all the bells, all the decorations, flags, this, that, and I want that there will be 100 dancing girls, all beautifully dressed, and there will be so many servants and everything. So when Lakshmi Devi comes out of the temple, because Lakshmi Devi is the consort of Krishna in Dwarka, but not in Vrindavan. And she has no entrance into Vrindavan. So conversation ensued, which we're going to hear about from Gurudev's own description. Today I was reading the actual Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's very detailed. But today, now we will read the actual description of Gurudev, who is giving his bhav anuvad of those verses. And then we will see how and why Gurudev described this conversation as being one of the highest parts of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And as I was reading it today, I was reflecting on this. I almost got to the end, not quite. Covered most of it. And I was thinking, this is like, practically it's a continuation of the Rai Ramananda Sambad. It's like the next level. Because Mahaprabhu wanted to hear from Ramananda Roy about Radha and Krishna and their qualities and their rasa and their pastimes. And in this description, there is a very, very detailed, elaborate description of all the moods of the gopis. And culminating in the moods of Srimati Radhika. And really, this is what Gurudev is trying to give us. Look at these two paintings on the wall here. We've looked at these paintings how many times? What is this? This is those moods. This is the essence of those moods described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and hundreds and millions of other pastimes and leelas. What Gurudev came to give us is this. But some qualification required to hear them and to appreciate. But even if we just have just a little attraction, oh, this is so nice, so beautiful, Radha and Krishna and their pastimes, and full of all these different moods and humor, so much humorous moods. So the gopis are the embodiment of all these moods and characteristics. And because of this festival of Lakshmi, there was a comparison. There was a comparison being made between Lakshmi Devi's jealous anger, the way that she was coming out of the temple like this, and the Braja Gopis. So now we're going to begin to read this exchange between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar Goswami, and also later on with Srivas Thakur in the end part. So Srila Gurudev begins, every year before Rath Yatra, thousands of clay pots filled with the water from holy places, tirthas, situated all over India, are brought for Lord Jagannath's bathing festival, which is called Snadayatra. And with this water, the Abhishek of Sri Jagannath, Sri Baladev, and Sri Subhadra is performed. Because an excessive amount of water is used, they enact a pastime of illness. At that time, Lakshmi Devi takes them to her palace, where she locks the door for 15 days and cares for them. And as a result, they regain their health. Who's they? Who is she talking about? Yes, them. So, as a result, she cares for them, and then they regain their health. Lord Jagannath Dev says to Lakshmi Ji, "My dear, due to your care, we have become healthy, but we do not like being confined to the palace for so long. I desire to wander around outside for a few days for a change of atmosphere." Lakshmi Ji asked, "Prabhu, how long will it be until you return?" "Oh, we shall come back very soon," said Sri Jagannath. Sri Lakshmi Ji agreed to Jagannath Dev's request. There was no apprehension in her mind, because Sri Baladev and Subhadra Ji were going along with him. So thus, by Lakshmi Ji's agreement, Lord Jagannath Dev, along with Sri Baladev and Subhadra Ji, mounted their chariots and they left. When 5 days had elapsed, Lakshmi Ji began to wonder, where has my husband gone? He promised that he would come back very soon, but so many days have passed and he has not returned. Lakshmi Ji became incapable of tolerating Sri Jagannath's neglect of her by delaying his return. In her anger, she ordered all her maidservants to equip themselves with weapons. Then, like the commander-in-chief of an army, she set out to attack her husband. They searched and searched for Sri Jagannath until they came to the Gundicha Mandir. And it was there that they searched Herati for him. The word Herati from Hera Panchami means searching. That is why the residents of Orissa, the Utkalavasis, they call this day Hera Panchami. Panchami refers to the 5th day after the Ratha Yatra festival, as well as the 5th day of the waxing and waning moon on the lunar calendar. But today is actually the 6th, because there's Titi's difference. But this is the Hera Panchami festival. Now, Srimad Mahaprabhu called Nilachala, the temple, Nilachala, he called that Dwarka. And he called the Gundicha Mandir Vrindavan. His purpose in doing so was to make the inhabitants of the world understand the difference between Dwarka and Vrindavan. Therefore, the day before Hera Panchami, Srimad Mahaprabhu said to Sri Kashi Mishra, "I, along with my devotees, want to see the Hera Panchami festival." Kashi Mishra expressed Srimad Mahaprabhu's desire to King Prataparudra, and he asked the king to decorate Mahalakshmi Devi with very gorgeous gold ornaments and hold such a magnificent festival that after seeing her opulence, everyone will be struck with wonder. The king was most elated to receive such a golden opportunity to perform service to Srimad Mahaprabhu. He told Kashi Mishra that he could take whatever he wanted from the royal treasure. Now, on the day of Hera Panchami, Kashi Mishra prepared for this pastime by getting hundreds of devotees to beautifully adorn themselves. In the morning, Srimad Mahaprabhu took his devotees, and he went inside the Gundicha Mandir for darshan of Sri Jagannath Dev, And he then took them to the Sri Jagannath Mandir to see the Hera Panchami festival. And Kashi Mishra treated him with great respect. And he had him seated in a beautiful spot next to the Singhadwara, the lion gate. It has been described in the previous chapter that both the Brajvasis and the Dwarkavasis, they have so much praying for Sri Krishna. But Sri Krishna is controlled only by the praying of the Brajavasis. This is the difference. Dwarkavasis, they have so much praying for Krishna. And the Brajvasis, they have so much praying. But Krishna is only controlled by the praying of the Brajavasis, not the Dwarkavasis. Therefore, on the day of Hera Panchami, Srimad Mahaprabhu asked Sri Swarup Damodar some questions with the purpose of establishing the glories of the Brajavasis praying in the world. What is the objective of Mahaprabhu's questions?
To establish the greatness of the
Brajavasis praying.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because whose praying alone can control Krishna? Well, the Brajavasis. They all control Krishna. But only absolute control of Krishna, and that is only with Srimati Radhika. Now here's the discussion in this section now. Gurudev is now going to go into the discussion between Srimad Mahaprabhu and Sri Swarup Damodar. So, as I was saying before, Mahaprabhu went to the banks of Godavari and discussed for 10 days with Ramananda Roy. And Ramananda Roy is who? Vishaka. And now he's discussing with Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is none other than Lalita Devi. With the desire to hear about the speciality of rasa, by comparing the rasa of Vraja to the rasa of Vaikuntha, so Srimad Mahaprabhu somewhat laughingly, he asked Srila Swarup Damodar the following. Yadyapi Jagannatha koren dwarakai vihar, sahaja prakata kore parama uddar. Tatapi vatsara madhye hoy ekbar, Vrindavana dekite tar utkanta apar. Although Sri Jagannath Dev reigns in the Nilachala Mandir, which is Dwarkadam, and he engages in pastimes there, thus bestowing his supreme natural compassion upon the jivas, still, once a year, he becomes overwhelmed with immense eagerness to see Vrindavan. Vrindavana sama e upavangan, taha deki bare utkantita hoyaman. On both sides of the grand road, which is called Baraganda, on both sides are beautiful groves. Pointing towards those gardens, Srimad Mahaprabhu said, these gardens are identical to Vrindavan. Therefore, Sri Jagannath Dev remains extremely eager at heart to see them. Bahira hoite kore ratha yatra chala, sundara chala jai prabhu chari nila chala. Outwardly, Sri Jagannath mounts the chariot on the pretense of going to roam about in the gardens. And in this way he leaves Nilachala, Dwarka, and he goes to Sundarachala, Vrindavan. Nana pushpo dhyane tata kele ratri dine, Lakshmi Deviare sange nahi loy ki karane. Bhagavan sports and plays day and night in the various flower gardens there. But why does he not take Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, with him? This is the question now. Mahaprabhu is speaking here. And he's saying to Swarup Damodar, that Krishna, Bhagavan, he's sporting day and night and plays in the various forest gardens there. Why doesn't he not take Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, with him?
Won't be able to be with the gopis.
Don't try to answer. We're going to hear the answer now.
I cheated. I heard the class that you were in.
It's okay. But now, all of us ignorant fools who have no knowledge of rasa whatsoever, we're going to hear the answer from the Supreme Guru, Swarup Damodar Goswami. The answer of Mahaprabhu's question, why didn't he take Lakshmi Devi with him? So, Swarup Kahe, Swarup Damodar replied, Shuno, Prabhu, Karana Ihar. The reason for this, Vrindavana Kridate Lakshmir Nahi Adhikar. You know what adhikar means? Qualification. Nahi Adhikar means no qualification. No qualification for what? Vrindavan Kridate. Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, does not have the proper qualification to enter what? Vrindavan Kridate, the playful pastimes of Vrindavan. This is a different kind of pastimes. No awe and reverence. These are krida. Krida means playing. So then he says, Vrindavan Lilai Krishner Sahai Gopikan. So in those sweet pastimes of Vrindavan, the only assistants of Sri Krishna are the gopis. And Gopigan Bina Krishner Harite Nariman. But for them, only for those gopis, no one can steal the mind of Krishna. Only the gopis can. Gurudev is explaining that in Dwarka, Sri Krishna has 16,000 queens, as well as 8 principal queens headed by Satyabhama and Rukmini Ji. All of them are Lakshmi Swarupa. They are all Lakshmi Swarupa, meaning they are embodiments of Lakshmi Devi. If none of these 8 principal queens have the qualification to enter Sri Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, then what can be said about the remaining 16,000 queens? In Vrindavan, the gopis' service to Sri Krishna is performed in Parakiya Bhav, mood of paramour love. In Dwarka, the queens serve him in Svakiya Bhav, wedded love. Big difference. So, Prema has 2 aspects. Meeting, milan, and what? Separation. Viraha. Milan and viraha. Separation increases the eagerness to meet and nourishes that meeting. When there is only meeting, then the waves of the bhavas of prem do not arise. In Dwarka, the queens are Sri Krishna's lawfully married wives. And there are no societal restrictions on their meeting with him. They can do so whenever they want. And therefore, their prem lacks an ever freshness. If prem has a cause, then when the cause breaks, prem also breaks. If prem has a cause, then if that cause breaks, then the prem also breaks. The Dwarka queens' prem for Sri Krishna is based on their marriage to him. But the gopis' prem for Sri Krishna does not depend on any societal relationship. They are married to other gopas, the gopis are. But their innate prem is for Krishna. Furthermore, each one of the Dwarka queens has 10 sons and 1 daughter. And their love is therefore divided. But the gopis who enter Ras Leela, there's a little brackets here, the gopis who enter Ras Leela, because some couldn't enter. So those gopis, they do not have any children, nor do they have a relationship with their husband. They don't have a relationship with their husband? They have husbands. But here it's saying they don't have a relationship with their husband. And they do not have any children. They have undivided praying for Sri Krishna alone. That's why their husbands are called so-called husbands. Yogamaya has manifested these apparent husbands. Why? For the purpose of stimulating parakiya rasa. It is only existing in Vrindavan, not in Dwarka, not in Mathura, nowhere else is parakiya rasa existing. That's why when we sing the song Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan in the morning, then it says Jaya Jaya Ujvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajete Prachar. Only in Braj this Parakiya Bhav mood is manifested fully. There's not even one tiny iota of it anywhere else. So Gurudev is pointing out here that the gopis praying for Krishna is quite different than the married queens of Dwarka, because their praying is called swakiya. Swakiya means loving one's own husband. But parakiya means the opposite, loving another person besides your husband. So if the gopis did not have the relationship with so-called husbands manifested by Yogamaya, whom they always have to cheat, because that's one of the main activities of the 16 activities of the gopis, is they're always cheating their husbands in order to go to Krishna. And what does this produce? It produces a ever freshness in their pastimes. So the gopis, they're married to other gopas, but their innate praying is for Krishna. No one else. Furthermore, each one of the Dwarka queens, yes, we already read this. Okay. They have 10 sons, 1 daughter. So, but the gopis, they don't have children, they don't have a relationship with their husband, and therefore their praying is undivided for Sri Krishna. It's only given to Krishna alone. No little portion of it is distributed to anyone else. Exclusive. When the gopis married, they became wives of others. That's called paravadhu. Vadhu means wife, and paravadhu means wife of other. So Krishna was then a man other than their husband. He was the Parapurusha, the other man. So therefore, they could not meet with him of their own accord. And there were many obstacles to their meeting with Krishna, such as their husband, their mother-in-law, their father-in-law, other family members, and societal conventions. By any trick or excuse, the gopis were forever looking for a chance to meet, with the gopis, Sri Krishna. They were looking for a chance to meet with him, and Sri Krishna was hiding from his mother, father, friends. He was forever looking for a chance to meet with the gopis. All these obstacles constantly increase the intense eagerness for meeting, milan. And they increase the joy of meeting 1,000,000 times over. Sri Krishna is supremely independent. But still, to relish such meetings, he performs such pastimes through his yogamaya potency. So to possess the mood of the gopis is the one and only qualification for entering into such vraja pastimes. So, therefore, that question that is being asked by Mahaprabhu to Srila Damodar Goswami, which is, why did Krishna not take Lakshmi Devi with him? And so, now Gurudev is giving the background reasons. Basically, Srila Damodar said she doesn't have the adhikar to enter the Vrindavan pastimes. Now once, after hearing about the glories of Ras Leela, a longing to also enter Ras Leela awoke within Lakshmi Ji's heart. You know about that? Yeah. She was hearing about Krishna's Ras Leela, and so much desire awoke within her heart. But because she does not possess the qualification to even enter Vrindavan, so she therefore performed austerities for thousands of years on the other side of the Yamuna in Belvan, which we can see from the rooftop of Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Mat, where I stay. Directly across is the village. On the other side of the Yamuna, no buildings, only forest. And when the devotees go there on the Brajmandala Prikrama, then they have to take the boat across the Yamuna and then they walk from there to that village. And that's called Belvan. So that village is where Lakshmi Devi went to perform her austerities. Now, she performed austerities for thousands of years on the other side of the Yamuna in Belvan at that time. Shri Krishna came and he asked her, why are you performing these arduous austerities? And Lakshmi Ji said, I want to receive a boon from you to be able to enter the Ras Leela. And Shri Krishna said, right now, this is not possible for you. And then Lakshmi Devi asked, why not? And Shri Krishna said, to enter Ras, it is necessary to have the body of a gopi and the identity, the abhiman, the sense of self-identity of a gopi. At the end of this lifetime, you have to take birth from the womb of a gopi in Vrindavan, and you have to marry a gopa, a cowherd boy. And after that, once you have submitted yourself to being under the shelter of the Nitya Siddha, eternally perfected gopis, and you are situated in the pure abhiman of a gopi, only then will you be able to enter into the Ras Leela, not before. Pretty stringent restriction here, that Krishna's telling to Lakshmi Devi. So what happened? He kept on telling Lakshmi, those Braja Gopis who have children, they are also unable to enter this ras. Only those gopis who have no relationship with their husband are able to do so. Therefore, how will you be able to enter? For this, you will have to give up your loving feelings for Narayan and your self-conception of being a Brahmani. You will have to deceive your cowherd husband and adopt the mood of a paramour, and in this way only, after being situated in the mood of a gopi, can you enter in the Ras Leela. Lakshmi Devi opposed this, saying, how can I abandon my husband Narayan? I cannot give up my chastity and desert him and then marry a cowherd. Then Krishna said, until you are prepared to do all this, you will have to wait to enter the Ras Leela. For this reason, Lakshmi Ji is performing austerities in Belvan to this very day. But still, she has not attained the necessary qualification. Everyone can desire this gopi prem, but it is so extremely rare that even Lakshmi Ji, Shankar Ji, Brahma Ji, and so on, they cannot attain it. What to speak of others? So everyone can desire this Gopi Prem. That you can do. But to attain it, very high qualification. Very rare. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give this to the most fortunate jivas in the entire existence of this universe. He came to give this in this Janya Kali Yuga. Now, in Vrindavan, Sri Krishna's mother and father, friends, and the other gopas and motherly gopis, they have so much love for Krishna. They have so much love for him. But here, Sri Sarup Damodar describes only his beloved gopis. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is the following description. This is a verse Gurudev said quite a few times. Aho bhagyam, nanda gopa vrajoka sham, yan mitram paramanandam, purnam brahma sanatanam. From the fourth, Lord Brahma is speaking this verse when he has real witness of the good fortune of the Brijvasis. And he says, Aho bhagyam, how greatly fortunate are not and all the gopas and gopis, living entities residing in Braja. There is actually no limit to their good fortune, because the abode of Paramananda, supreme bliss, the eternal and complete Parabrahma, he has descended among them and has become their friend. Do you understand this point? Yan mitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatanam. Brahma understands who Krishna is. That he is the Purna Brahma Sanatanam. What does that mean? Purna Brahma Sanatanam Paramanandam.
Complete absolute truth for this.
Yes. Purna. Purna Brahma.
Full.
That supreme absolute truth, who is the abode of supreme bliss, Paramanandam, he has become their friend. Yan mitram. Mitra means friend. Oho bhagyam. I mean, Brahma can't even conceive. Lord Brahma cannot even conceive of the good fortune of the Brijvasis, and that includes every single entity, from the birds, the animals, everyone in Braj. They all have this love, this affection, this very intimate friendship with Krishna in all of their rasas. Even in the Shantaras, even the trees, even the inanimate objects, they have this, and Brahma realized that. That's why he also prayed later on, I just want to become a stone. A stone. Would you like to become a stone?
Rock on.
If I give you that option, that in your next life you can take birth as a stone, does that sound like something very attractive to you? No. But Brahma, who has the highest position in the entire universe, this is a fact. And he's praying to become a stone in Vrindavan. This is how we have to try to understand. What is Braj? What is Vrindavan? What is the moods? What are the relationships there? Brahma understands how every single entity in Vrindavan is millions of times greater than him. Huh? Therefore, I just want to be a stone, and I want to really be a stone exactly in the place where all the servants, sweepers of Braj, after they're sweeping the drains in Braj, and cleaning every day, and then their feet become soiled from all of this, and then there's one stone that they use every day to rub their feet on the stone to clean it. I want to be that stone. So this is the verse that Brahma spoke. Now, Gurudev is explaining. All the gopas, they also serve Sri Krishna. Nanda Baba serves him as his father. Gargacharya, Bhaguri Muni, Shandilya Rishi, and others offer him blessings as his gurus. Sudama, Subal, Madhumangal, Sri Baladev Prabhu also serves him in male form. But no one in a male body can perform the kind of service Srimati Radhika performs. Therefore, all males are forbidden to enter that place where Sri Krishna is engaged in pastimes with Srimati Radhika and the gopis. Some of the sakas, such as Madhu Mangal, Subal Saka, Kokila, Mringa, and other Priya Narma sakas, who have a semblance of Mahabhav, they assist these pastimes of Sri Krishna only from a distance, because they are forbidden from entering the kunjas. On the other hand, all the gopis can enter the kunjas. And therefore Sri Swarup Damodar said that apart from the gopis, no one has the eligibility to steal Sri Krishna's heart and reign over it. And Sri Krishna also confirms this statement in Srimad Bhagavatam at the end of the 32nd chapter of the Ras Leela, 5 chapters of Ras Leela. He's telling to the gopis directly. He says, my darling gopis, your meeting me is faultless and pure in every respect. It is devoid of even a single iota of desire for your own happiness. It is full of supremely pure love. You have demolished the tenacity of household life. Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Govinda Jiyo Ki Jai. You have demolished the tenacious bonds of household life, and having transgressed the moral laws of this world, you have lovingly served me. Even if I obtain a span of life like that of the gods, I would be unable to requite even one drop of your love, your sacrifice, and your service. All of you may free me from this debt simply by your own gentle nature. But I am forever the debtor of your praying, and I will always continue to be. The words Krishna spoke are na parayham niravadya samyujam swasadu krityam vibudayushapiva ya ma bhajam durjaya geha shrinkala samvrishya chattadva pratiyatu sadhuna. So this is the only place where Krishna ever spoke such words. And only to the Brajagopis, no one else. That I am forever in your debt. I am not able to repay you for what you have given up for me. So since there is no way for me to repay you, I'm requesting that you please accept your own sadhutva. That means your own purity, your own exalted qualities, your own gentle nature. You accept that, because I can't give anything to you. I'm forever the debtor of your praying, and I will always continue to be. There is not any point in time of the creation, of the millions of creations, of the whole transcendental spiritual world, where Krishna will be able to repay their praying. No, he can't. Although Krishna has told in the Bhagavad Gita to all of us jivas that yeyata mam prapadyante, according to your surrender to me, tamsta taiva bhajami aham, I will reciprocate according to that. So Krishna has promised that. But here, the gopis' praying has so much overpowered Krishna that he admits that he's defeated by them. He can't reciprocate. So just imagine, what is the level of the Braja gopis? And that is why only they can be there. No one else. No one else. Your Gurudev is even saying, the Priya Narma Sakhas, they're certainly most intimate friends of Krishna. They even have a semblance, a little semblance of what is the Mahabhav of the gopis. That's why they have that position in which they can assist Krishna in meeting the gopis. But they can never go there when Krishna's meeting with the gopis in the Kunja. No, they cannot. They have to keep distance. So, Sri Krishna has never said this to anyone but the gopis. It is for this reason that Swarup Damodar has described the gopis only. In this whole conversation, Swarup Damodar is only describing the gopis. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the Mahavadanya. What does Mahavadanya mean? It means the most munificent. And he descended to this earthly plane to bestow this very gopi prem. If an intense hankering to perform service within the Ras Leela of the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, awakens within anyone, then that person will obtain the good fortune of entering this Ras. Only for awakening such longing within the jivas does Sriman Mahaprabhu send so many great personalities, so many Mahapurushas to this world. Only for this. For what? For awakening this longing in the jivas. That's why Mahaprabhu sends all these great personalities, like Sri Swarup Damodar, Ramananda, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and his personal associates, Padikars, such as Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. To awaken this, that's why Mahaprabhu sends them to this world, to awaken this. So Mahaprabhu, he still desires to know the cause of Lakshmi Devi's anger. So Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe, Yatra chale Krishnara gaman, Subhadra ar Baladev sange dui jan. So Sriman Mahaprabhu again asks to Sri Swarup Damodar a question. He says, on the pretext of Rath Yatra, Sri Krishna went with Sri Baladev Prabhu and Sri Subhadra Devi to the Gundicha Mandir, Vrindavan, to meet with Yashoda Maya, Nanda Baba, the Gopas, Gopis, and the rest of the Brijvasis. He took Sri Baladev Prabhu and Sri Subhadraji along with him so that Lakshmi would not suspect that he was gone to Vrindavan. Sri Baladev Prabhu had lived with Sri Krishna in Braj until the age of 11. And Sri Subhadraji has great feelings of affection for the gopis. So therefore, Sri Krishna took them with him. He first went to Nanda Bhavan and he met with his parents. And after that, he left Baladev and Subhadra there. And then he went alone to his beloved gopis. Sri Baladev and Subhadraji, they cannot understand Sri Krishna's confidential pastimes with the gopis. Nor do they know that during the day, having made an excuse to the Sakhas, and also during the night, without anyone coming to know, he sometimes goes to Vamshivat, sometimes to Sevakunj, sometimes Shamkhet, sometimes Radhakund. For what? To meet alone with the gopis. So Baladev and Subhadra, they don't know. This is Yoga Maya. They don't know. So, playing with the gopis in these places, sometimes he swings, unswings with them, sometimes he is defeated by them in games, sometimes the gopis stealthily steal his flute, sometimes he plays water sports with the gopis in Shyamakunda and Radhakunda. In this way, Krishna performs many confidential. So, he quotes a verse. Tato lila hoy upavane nigura krishner bhav keho nahi jane. Translation, no one understands, no one can understand the confidential moods of Krishna in all the pastimes that take place with the gopis in the kunjas. No one can understand. Even Yashoda Maya does not know about these confidential pastimes. Only Yoga Maya, Purnamasi Devi, Vrinda Devi, Dhanishta, and Kundalata, etc. They know of them. Sri Krishna's Priya Narmasakas, such as Subal, Madhumangal, they know something about them. But even then, they do not have entrance in those pastimes. Therefore, Sri Subhadra Devi and Sri Baladev Prabhu, they cannot understand why Sri Krishna has come to Vrindavan. Lakshmi Devi was thinking that Sri Jagannath was wandering about with Sri Baladev Prabhu and Subhadraji, and that he would soon return to Dwarka. This is what Lakshmi was thinking. Well, my husband is with his brother, his sister, they'll wander, then they'll come back. Atayeva Krishner prakatye nahi kichu dosh, tabe kene Lakshmi Devi kare eto rosh. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked to Swarup Damodar, therefore, since Sri Jagannath has not committed any perceivable offense to Sri Lakshmi, then why does she become so angry with him? Understand this point? Lakshmi Devi has come out of the palace to search out her husband, right, in a very angry mood. But here, Mahaprabhu is asking, Jagannath has not committed any perceivable offense to Sri Lakshmi, so why does she become so angry with him? Now Swarup Damodar replied, Swarup kahe, prem bhatir bhav, udasya leshe hoy krodha bhav. That it is natural for a girl who is wrapped in love to become angry upon her lover showing her the slightest bit of neglect. And this is why Lakshmi Ji was in man. We've heard this word a lot in our Sangha, haven't we? Right? Man. If I ask any one of you, what is man? You will have an answer for that question, right? What is man?
Jealous anger.
What is man?
I was going to say jealousy too, but
Mm-hmm.
you still keen
Mm. It's because you haven't associated that much yet.
I was also going to say jealous anger.
Okay, so we have two words, jealous and anger. But what is man? That none of us can explain. Even explain one single phrase. Oh, jealous anger. And your conception of jealous anger is also just related to the perverted reflection of this world, okay? But this is the greatest purity of the gopis and Srimati Radhika. So now, Swarup Damodar is beginning to answer Mahaprabhu's question of why Lakshmi became angry. And then Swarup Damodar first, he says, no, this is the natural, this is the swabhav, means like the nature of a girl who has this prem bhatir. She's wrapped in love with her beloved, with her lover. So if that lover is going to show her some little bit of neglect, then what happens? Gets angry. Those of you who are householders sitting here, have you ever experienced the perverted reflection of this? No?
So it has to do with mamata too, possessive.
Yes. There's a lot of factors, but this is simply talking about the outward expression of it, you know. So to understand man, this conversation has to be at least make an attempt to hear it, to read it, to study it, and to get some kind of impression. Because this man is so complex, with so many different attributes, binding together, so many different bhavas. It's a whole realm. This man is the realm of Parakiya Rasa. Parakiya Rasa expresses this man in ways that Lakshmi can't even imagine. The gopis and their expression of man. Why? Because their love is way beyond the Swakiya Bhav of married love. It's way beyond that. Okay? We already heard how Krishna admitted that the gopis' love for him is no comparison to anyone. So, now, there's a few verses here, because what Gurudev is doing is he's breaking up this whole chapter into various verses, in which he's, part by part, he's now beginning to enter into this discussion and this answer of Swarup Damodar Goswami. So, Heno kale kachita jahe vivida vratan, suvar nera chaudola kori arohan. I'll just read one of these 4 verses. At that moment, everyone saw that Lakshmi Devi came there riding on a golden gem-studded palanquin. Her maidservants accompanying her, carrying umbrellas, chamras, and flags. The other maidservants were playing various musical instruments, and the Devi Dasis, they were dancing. Hundreds of maidservants surrounded her on all sides, carrying boxes of pan, betel nuts, small water containers with a spout for sprinkling water, fans, chamras. These maidservants were all adorned with divine ornaments. And with her many associates and exhibiting vast opulence, Lakshmi Devi came to the Singhadwara filled with anger. Now, on the order of Lakshmi Ji, her maidservants grabbed the chief servants of Jagannath. This is after they've arrived at the Gundicha Mandir. So Lakshmi ordered her maid, grab the chief servants of Jagannath. They began to bind them with ropes and they threw them at Lakshmi Devi's feet. She proceeded to punish them as if they had stolen a vast amount of wealth. Those maidservants assailed them with many abuses and harsh words, as if Jagannath's servants were ignorant fools. And seeing the boldness and the expertise of Lakshmi Devi and her associates, Mahaprabhu and his associates covered their mouths and they began to laugh. Now, after this, Lakshmi Ji began to move toward the Sri Gundicha Mandir along with her maidservants. Srimad Mahaprabhu, also accompanied by all his devotees, followed just behind to see the bhavs of Lakshmi Devi. So then Swarup Damodar said, "Never before have I seen or heard of such astonishing man anywhere within the three worlds, because usually a woman in man becomes morose." What is the behavior of a woman normally who's in man? She becomes morose. She throws off all her ornaments, sits on the ground. Because she is filled with anger and distress, she looks dejected. She begins to write something by scratching her nails on the ground. And previously, when Satyabhamaji had exhibited man, her condition was just like this. So what can be said of the man of the gopis? Their man is the treasury. It is the crown jewel of rasa. But here, in the case of Lakshmi Ji, the exact opposite is shown. Bedecked in all her wealth and opulence, she and her army have prepared to make an attack on her beloved. What kind of man is this? Then Srimad Mahaprabhu asked, "How many kinds of man are there in the Braj Gopis?" Sri Swarup Damodar said, "The Gopis man is hundreds of types. There are many divisions of heroines, and according to their nature and the propensity of their prem, man arises in the heroine in accordance with those divisions. It is not possible to describe all the different types of man, and therefore I can give only a general overview by describing a few divisions. The Gopis man is aroused by a cause and sometimes without any cause. Hetu, ahetu. Man is a very advanced stage of praying. Now this is what we have to understand. Because in the stages of praying, as described in the Shastras, begins with praying. Then comes sneha. Then comes pranay. Then comes man. Then rag, anurag, bhav, and mahabhav. So man, what is man? It's a very, very advanced stage of praying. So man is an advanced stage of praying that manifests after staibhav, one's permanent sentiment is attained. What is staibhav?
For chief rasas that become steady in the mood of love that one has.
Yes. Bhav, anubhav, sattvic bhav, vyavichari bhav, like this. So, staibhav has to be attained, first of all, in the progression of the sadhaka, when he's on the doorstep of praying, still within this world even. The first, the stage of bhav, of asta, it has to come. Then there is a realization of one's staibhav at that time. Stai means permanent. Stai bhav. That is your permanent relationship with Krishna. And without stai bhav, it is not possible to taste rasa, because there are 5 different ingredients of this astonishing manifestation of love and manifesting as rasa, bhakti rasa, prem rasa. So, sthai bhav, one's permanent sentiment, is attained. So here, Gurudev is explaining there are 5 kinds of sthai bhav and they never change. What are those 5? Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. They never change, never. And when Vibhav and Anubhav, Sattva, they all mix together on the platform of sthai bhav, then bhakti rasa is produced. You see, so no one can be called a rasik Vaishnava. We like to throw that term around very cheaply. Oh, he's very rasik. Oh, he's so rasik. No, you cannot be rasik until you taste rasa. You might have a desire to taste rasa, but rasika means those who are actually appreciating and tasting rasa. And only when these 5 constituents are attained, they all mix together on the platform of sthai bhav, and then bhakti rasa is produced. And then in the sadhak's heart, first rati arises. What does rati mean? Intense love and affection. Rati. So that arises in the sadhak's heart. And then after some time, by the mercy of a ragatmik bhakta of Goloka Vrindavan, then the permanent foundation of prem, sthai bhav, then it manifests in his heart. What is the nature of prem? Gurudev is asking here. What is the nature of prem? Even when there is every reason for the prem to break, every reason, every cause, but what happens? It only increases more and more. In prem, there is not even the slightest trace of desire for one's own happiness. The gopis' objective is simply to please Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna's objective is to please the gopis. This mutual love of conditioned souls, the mutual love of conditioned souls of this world, it is not selfless. And therefore, when there is just a little harm to one's self-interest, the connection of love breaks. Understand? Right? Is there plenty of proof of this? Yeah. We experience it continually, life after life. So it's not actual love. It's not prem, because prem can never be broken. Yes, and prem has no selfish interest. Prem is completely selfless for the beloved. Now, after prem, after this stage called prem, as I was telling before, prem, sneha, pranay, like that. So after prem comes the stage of sneha, in which the devotee's heart melts immediately upon seeing Sri Krishna, and streams of tears continuously flow from his eyes. This is called sneha. There are 2 kinds of sneha. It is grita sneha and madhu sneha. So, grita sneha, it means ghee. And madhu sneha means honey. Shrimati Radhika and the Sakhis in her group. Now there's 2 different groups. What are those 2 different groups? Srimati Radhika's group and Chandravali's group. So, Srimati Radhika and the Sakhis in her group, they have madhu sneha, like honey. And Chandravali and the Sakhis in her group have grita sneha, like ghee. The gopis with madhu sneha, they possess the mood that Krishna is theirs. You understand? It's called mamata. Mamata. Krishna is mine. Krishna is mine. Whereas the gopis with the Grita Sneha in Chandravali's group, they think, I am Krishna's. I belong to Krishna. You understand? After this, then the mood of pranay arises, in which gopis' sneha increases so much, themselves and Krishna to be one soul in two bodies. This is unimaginable for us. Love is so much increased. Now they enter into this pranay.
Even the other gopis besides Radha?
Yes. But of the nature, they have sneha, and then they have pranay. They have all the stages. But there's some difference, because left wing and right wing. There's a lot of different qualities that are possessed in both groups of gopis. And this is all created by Yogamaya to give variety to all the pastimes and competition. You see, there's so many reasons. Now, after pranay, then comes the stage called man. So this whole discussion is about man. But we have to understand, how high is man? There is no such thing as man in the material world. No such thing. Not even the dim reflection of it. Only perverted. So, sometimes man arises before the stage of pranay. Sometimes. So the gopis have go into man, then Sri Krishna will surely come to pacify them. This alone is the purpose of their man. What's the purpose of their man? Yes. Krishna will come to pacify them. Surely. Now there are unlimited moods within Srimati Radhika. And among them, and therefore, there are 360 kinds of gopi, and all their moods are embodied. All gopis' moods. And she expansions. And their moods manifest by her desire. Prakara. Outspoken. That in our Sangha. Lalita, even Gurudev. I mean, he would entertain disciples by giving the name Lalita. I remember once in Malaysia, there was one Chinese lady who took initiation from him because she's a lawyer. That's the courtroom boldly. Oh, you will be Lalita. But in boldness, she can chastise Krishna. Else has that power? No. And everything she does is for Krishna's happiness and Srimati Radhika's. So she, and all the great personalities, they cannot steal my mind at all. My gopis rebuke me and cut me down with their harsh words. I derive the greatest. Because it's prema. You understand? Man is prema. But they're being impelled by their different natures to exhibit that man in different ways. Once, when Sri Krishna went to Radha, his these marks. His play, his vilas with other gopis. She then exhibited man. He said, "Oh, you have come. Oh, you look most exhausted. Please rest for a little while." She gave him a place to sit, and because Radhaji was in man, the particular manifestation. So Srimad Mahaprabhu and Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami became so absorbed in discussing the moods of the Brajbasis that they did not even notice that Lakshmi Ji's chariot had reached the Gundicha Mandir. Now the pastime of Lakshmi Devi arriving at Gundicha Mandir is being... When Lakshmi realized that Sri Krishna had left Nilachal, Dwarka, to go to Sundarachal, her anger suddenly increased. Then Srivas Thakur, laughing, he said to Sri Swarup Damodar, "My dear friend, just see the extent of the unlimited opulence of my Lakshmi Ji." Srivas Thakur, incarnation of Narada. Here's Vrindavan's treasure merely consists of some flowers, creepers, minerals from the hills, peacock feathers, berries. In Vrindavan, Shri Krishna does not have a crown on his head. He bears only a flute made of bamboo and a peacock feather, a pitambara, and a flower garland. Then Srivas continued, he said, "Upon hearing that Sri Jagannath Ji has gone to see that Vrindavan, the heart of my Swamini, my Sri Lakshmi, has become saddened. Why has Sri Jagannath Ji gone to see Vrindavan, leaving behind so much wealth and opulence? Just to make a mockery of this, Lakshmi Ji has set out with her entire opulence and wealth." And then the maidservants of Lakshmi Ji, they said to the servants of Jagannath Dev, "Your master Jagannath, abandoning the great opulence of Lakshmi Ji, went into the flower garden, greedy for some leaves, fruits, and flowers. Your master is the crest jewel of the clever, so why is he showing such foolishness? Abandoning Lakshmi's all this wealth and opulence, and just going in there for some leaves, fruits, and flowers. Very quickly, you present your master before our Lakshmi." And saying this, the maidservants of Lakshmi arrested the servants of Jagannath and bound them by throwing cloth around their waist. And they then brought them to Lakshmi, and they made them offer pranam at her feet. As punishment, they took their wealth, and they had them make a humble entreaty to her. They even beat Sri Jagannath's chariot with sticks. Jagannath's servants just like thieves. And finally, Lord Sri Jagannath's servants came before Lakshmi Devi with folded hands, and they said, "We will bring your Sri Jagannath before you tomorrow." So having fined and punished Sri Jagannath's servants, Lakshmi Devi, upon hearing them make this promise, released them, and they went to her abode pacified. So Srivas Pandit said to Swarup Damodar, "It is not possible to describe my Lakshmi Ji's wealth in words. Your gopis, they make ghee, yogurt, butter, and so forth from the milk of their cows. Their livelihood. They live in kunjas, not in the big palaces of Mathura and Dwarka. They make their ornaments from forest flowers, whereas Dwarkavasis have ornaments of gold, pearls, diamonds, and jewels. And my Thakurani, she sits on a jeweled throne." Hearing these words of Srivas Pandit, who was in the mood of Narada Ji, the devotees of Srimad Mahaprabhu burst out laughing. And then Mahaprabhu said, "Oh Srivas, your nature is like that of Sri Narada. You are only attracted to the mood of opulence, Aishwarya. But this Swarup Damodar, he is a pure Vrajvasi. He does not know Aishwarya. He simply remains immersed in pure prema." And then Swarup Damodar said to Srivas, "Oh Srivas, just listen attentively. Do you not know the transcendental opulence of Vrindavan? The natural opulence of Vrindavan is vast, like an ocean. The opulence of Dwarka and Vaikuntha is not equal to even a drop of that ocean. Then he quoted this verse from Brahma Samhita, where it's describing Vrindavan. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Druma Bhumischintamani Ganamai Toyam Amritam Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Apivamshi Priyasaki Chidanandam Jyoti Param Api Tadasvadyam Apicha. So he quoted this verse, Swarup Damodar, and then he said, however much opulence the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna has is fully manifested in his own abode, Vrindavan. There, the earth is made of wish-fulfilling. Houses are made of jewels. Even the maidservants there wear ankle bells made of chintamani gems. All the trees are kalpavriksha, desire trees, but the Brajbasis, there are fruits and flowers from them. The limitless cows there are all kamadhenus, wish-fulfilling cows, but the Brajbasis, they beg only milk from them, not any other kind of wealth. The Brajbasis' ordinary speech is actually song, and their natural walking is actually dancing. The water of that abode is nectar. With its own transcendental radiance, that abode illuminates itself. The Lakshmis there, the Gopis, they defeat the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha with their astonishing qualities. And there, Sri Krishna's Vamshi flute itself performs the activity of a dearmost friend. So Krishna is the crown jewel of rasa. He is called Rasika Shekhar. And that is why he wants to relish the rasa of Unnata Ujjvala Prem, the supremely elevated, resplendent love of the gopis. He is not fully satisfied by any other sentiment of love. This Unnata Ujjvala rasa is only within the gopis of Vrindavan, and therefore, leaving aside the opulence displayed in the abode of Dwarka, Sri Krishna always resides in Vrindavan, which is full of Madhurya. So upon hearing the glories of Vrindavan from Sri Swarup Damodar, Srivas Pandit's mood changed. He became absorbed in the mood of Madhumangal, Sri Krishna's dear Saka in Braj. And absorbed in the Braja, he began to dance and loudly laugh, while making a funny sound by squeezing air out of his armpit with his cupped hand. And after hearing the glories of the pure praying of Sri Radhaji, Srimad Mahaprabhu too became even more immersed in praying. He began to dance, and Sri Swarup Damodar began to perform kirtan. So this is Gurudev's description. There's a little bit more about the difference between the moods of Aishwarya and Madhurya. We've gone way over the time, but we had to at least come to this point in the narration to consider that this has been fully covered and honored Gurudev's Katha. And we can discuss the remainder of this tomorrow. Yeah, only a little bit left here. Gaur Premanandi. Shri Hera Panchami Maha Mahotsava ki jai. Shri Swarup Damodar Goswami Pada ki jai. Shri Srivas Thakur ki jai. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Jai Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Shri Jagannatha Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakrajil ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatupascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So because it's late, we'll just all sing, not responsively, the arti. We'll sing it together and complete fairly quickly.
Padmanabha Maharaj ki jai.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada. All together, Shri Shiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aroti Keshoda Radhe Radhe Govinda Jaya Jaya Hare